Young and the Restless Spoilers. The whiskey burned as it slid down Billy's throat, fueling the fire that had been smoldering within him since Chelsea's confession. She had betrayed him, yet again, and this time, it was too much to bear. His world had been crumbling for weeks, but this was the final blow. He was spiraling, and the alcohol wasn't numbing the pain, it was intensifying it, making the rage inside him boil over. With his judgment clouded by anger and alcohol, Billy made a reckless decision. He grabbed his car keys and stormed out of the house, barely aware of his surroundings as he got behind the wheel. The engine roared to life, and he floored the gas pedal, the car careening through the dark streets of Genoa City. His destination was clear in his mind, Adam's house. The man he had loathed for so long, the man he blamed for so many of his problems. Billy's hands clenched the steering wheel as he thought about how Adam had always seemed to come out on top, no matter what he did. Tonight, Billy was going to confront him, once and for all. Billy barely noticed the screech of the tires as he slammed on the brakes in front of Adam's house. He stumbled out of the car, the world tilting slightly as he made his way to the front door. Without thinking, he pounded on it with his fist, the noise echoing through the quiet neighborhood. Inside, Adam was in the middle of reading a bedtime story to Connor when he heard the banging. His brows furrowed in irritation as he placed the book down and told Connor to stay in his room. As Adam made his way to the front door, the banging grew louder, more insistent. He opened the door, and there stood Billy, disheveled, eyes wild, and reeking of alcohol. "Billy, what the hell are you doing here?" Adam demanded, keeping his voice low, mindful of Connor's presence. Billy shoved past him, stumbling into the house. "I'm here to settle things, Adam. You've ruined everything, you and your damn games. Chelsea, the job, everything." Adam's eyes narrowed as he realized what was happening. Billy was drunk, out of control, and on the verge of doing something he would regret. Adam clenched his fists, trying to keep his composure. He knew this wasn't the time for a confrontation, especially not with Connor in the house. "Billy, you need to leave. Now. Go home, sleep it off, and we'll talk when you're sober," Adam said firmly, trying to keep the situation from escalating. But Billy wasn't listening. The alcohol had stripped away his inhibitions, leaving nothing but raw, unfiltered rage. "You think you can tell me what to do? You think you're better than me? You've been screwing up my life for years, Adam, and I'm sick of it." Billy's voice rose with each word, his anger bubbling over as he took a swing at Adam. But Adam was quick, sidestepping the punch with a practiced ease. "That's enough." Adam snapped, grabbing Billy by the collar and dragging him towards the door. "I'm not going to let you do this in front of my son. You're out of control, Billy. Get out." Billy struggled against Adam's grip, but Adam was stronger, more focused. He pushed Billy out onto the porch, his patience at its breaking point. "Go home, Billy. Before you do something even more stupid." But Billy wasn't done. His humiliation and anger at being manhandled by Adam only fueled his desperation. As Adam turned to go back inside, Billy lunged at him, his hand swinging wildly. This time, Adam had had enough. He caught Billy's wrist in midair and twisted it, forcing Billy to his knees. "You're done, Billy," Adam growled, his voice cold as steel. He released Billy's wrist and shoved him away, hard enough that Billy stumbled back, falling to the ground. "Get out of here, before I call the cops." For a moment, Billy stayed where he was, breathing heavily, his face flushed with anger and alcohol. But then the reality of the situation started to sink in. He was sitting on the ground, outside Adam's house, with nowhere to go and nothing left to say. The fight had drained out of him, leaving only a hollow, aching emptiness. Adam watched him for a moment, his own anger simmering just beneath the surface. He didn't want this. He didn't want to be dragged back into the endless cycle of hatred and revenge that defined his relationship with Billy. But he couldn't just let it go, not this time. Billy finally got to his feet, swaying slightly. He gave Adam one last look, a mix of bitterness and defeat, before turning and stumbling back to his car. Adam stood at the doorway, watching him leave, a heavy feeling settling in his chest. Billy managed to get into his car, but as he fumbled with the keys, trying to start the engine, the headlights of a police car illuminated the driveway. Someone had called the cops, perhaps a concerned neighbor who had heard the commotion. The officers approached Billy, their expressions stern as they ordered him out of the vehicle. Billy, too exhausted and defeated to argue, complied.